and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Granger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
As a detective, I've solved many mysteries, but this one has me stumped.
Why does NJM Insurance remain silent in a world full of catchy jingles?
What are they up to? It's suspicious.
Yet their policyholders all agree.
NJM is amazing. When things go wrong, they do what's right.
But is the world ready for an ad break that's jingle-free? Tune in to Baffling Mysteries, where the story of the missing jingle unfolds.
This fictional podcast is brought to you by NJM. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Happy New Year, and thank you, Baltimore. When I started Amazing Heating and Air, I knew what I wanted. I wanted to start the best darn plumbing, heating, and air company in the city. But I had no idea if customers would respond. After all, I was going up against some really big plumbing, heating, and air conditioning companies, many of whom are now really well funded through private equity. But so many of you have made Amazing your go-to for plumbing, heating, and air service that we've grown quite a bit over the years. So it's only fitting that I say thank you. And I'm doing that with a gift. I'm giving away 2 years of our Comfort Club membership with any new system purchase between now and the end of Martin Luther King Day. So while I hope you have an amazing new year and that you don't need us this season, if you do, my thank you gifts are waiting for you at
CALLAMAZING.com. Today, partly cloudy, high of 41. Tonight, partly cloudy, low around 23. Tomorrow, high near 35.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo Country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hola, amigos! It's a big noise. Brad Evans from BetMGM tonight. Listen Monday through Friday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern on Westwood One Sports as we cover the biggest sports stories from coast to coast. Get insights on the NFL playoffs, college basketball conference races, and more. Download the Odyssey app now and listen from anywhere. BetMGM tonight, live and interactive, presented by BetMGM. Tune in, Team Huevos.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Granger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your knowledge to work on the events that matter to you. Prediction Markets isn't just sports. It's the Fed rate decision, your favorite awards show, and so much more beyond the playing field. Trade events with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Inside Access with Jason LaConfora, Ken Wyman, and Tim Barbalace. Sports Radio 105.7 The Fan.
So I was talking to someone the other day, and he said two guys that they've interviewed already have, quote, kind of knocked their socks off. One is Davis Webb, who we talked to Jeff Legwold about yesterday. And the other is Nate Scheelhaase, who is the pass game coordinator for the Rams. And quite frankly, until I heard about them interviewing Nate Scheelhaase, I didn't know much about him if I knew him at all. So, Jason, what do you know about Nate Scheelhaase?
Look, I know that Sean McVay thinks very highly of him. I had a long conversation with Sean, probably close to 2 hours. He was on the beach somewhere before the season started. And we talked about, just downloaded him on all kinds of stuff, some of which would eventually make its way to some of my work at the Washington Post, and some of it would just make its way into my consciousness. And he talked about this kid in a way, like, he likes to pump his own guys up, but he talked about him in a way that I didn't necessarily feel when he's talked to me in the past about some people who've gone on to have careers in this league, some of whom have done an okay job and some of whom were overhired. And I think his instincts on things like this are pretty uncanny. And I got the sense that he was delegating some things to him at that age that he doesn't always do. Now, part of that is he's got a great roster, and they were adding Devontae Adams to that roster and the offensive line. They figured that part of it out. So I'm not saying he would be doing that. Just, if it weren't pretty close to a perfect setup, and what there's the number one offense in the NFL. They end up averaging 33 points a game. Number one road offense in the NFL. Matt Stafford, even by Matt Stafford standards, had his greatest season, and he did it the oldest Matt Stafford has ever been, because that's how time works.
By the way, credit to you, Jason. You said before the season Devontae Adams would have a big year. Now, his numbers would be better if he didn't miss the last 3 games. But he had 14 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, I said that because Sean said that to me.
Yes.
He said, your kids in fantasy football leagues? I said, yeah. Have them take Devontae Adams. Make sure that Devontae's still out there in the middle rounds. Tell your kids they want Devontae Adams. Gotcha. So, look, if I was going to throw a dart at somebody who's off the grid, and I don't think their list is particularly off the grid, you're not seeing them interview people that other people aren't interviewing. Even this young man, he's making the rounds.
People are Steelers requested him.
Yeah.
Look, if I was going to give someone the benefit of the doubt, having not even really run his own offense, let alone run his own NFL team, and being that young, I would be inclined to go that way. But I'll just say, if you're going to look at this subsect of candidates, right? So you got him, you got Davis Webb. Davis Webb's a little different because he played the game at a high level. Mm-hmm. If I'm going down that road, I find it very interesting that Josh McCown, who's had head coaching interviews in the past, who played in this league forever, was a vagabond. Every quarterback room he ever was in, he was a rock star. Every building he was ever in, coaches are like, that guy's a future head coach. He's got an it factor. He did go to high school and coach his 2 kids in high school, so like he didn't do that. And then teams kept calling him to come back and would you interview for our head coaching job? Come back and help our quarterback room out. Come back and coach our quarterbacks. Interview for another head coaching job. I find it interesting, and I'll just say frankly odd, that Josh if you're going to look at that profile at all, why Josh McCown wouldn't interest them, because I think Josh McCown's going to be a successful head coach in this league, and I think it might be way sooner than anybody would have suggested otherwise. But there could be some special sauce to this kid. I wouldn't be shocked if he's one of the 6 who make it through to Silent Steve, who's not so silent anymore, but makes me kind of actually yearn for the days he was silent. If that's what we have to endure, just, zip it.
Ken, I'm with you. It's not like I knew
I didn't know
much
who he
at
was.
all about Scheelhaase prior to the Ravens requesting an interview, but looking at his wiki and looking at where he's been, and he was at Iowa State for 5 years prior to that. He was an offensive coordinator for 1 year in 2023, and Iowa State's offense did jump significantly. They scored 6 more points per game under Scheelhaase year over year from 22 to 23.
A lot of smart NFL people like Matt Campbell a lot. Like, I'm no Penn State guy.
The old Iowa State coach, yeah.
Yes. People he's a coach's coach. Like, he's very well respected in NFL coaching circles because you're sending scouts there. You're looking at his players leading up to the draft. Like, that's a good thing, good guy for him to have been working for.
I will say this, though, and I've kept this stance throughout. I would have trepidation given the fact that he hasn't been a coordinator at the NFL level. I'm not saying that this guy isn't going to be successful if he gets hired somewhere. Look, the Sean McVay tree,
especially on the offensive side. Yeah.
Yes. FOM, as you used to joke.
Friend of McVay.
Friend of McVay. We know that stretches very far. It's good that they're talking to him. Davis Webb, I was very impressed when we talked to Jeff Lakewell.
I like that thing. He'll go at it with Peyton.
sounded very promising, and maybe you keep him in mind for a possible offensive coordinator. Maybe you keep Scheelhaase in mind for a possible offensive coordinator.
That's what I wanted to finish with, Jason. Is there a possibility that you could get him as an offensive coordinator, or do you think he'd prefer to stay with Sean?
I think he could. He's getting head coaching interviews now. If there's only a couple that he would want that he doesn't get now, I think. I mean, you can play around with titles all you want. Mm-hmm. Sean can delegate even more. To him. Yeah, I mean, look, and money talks, but I don't think that's. There have been times before where he's talked guys up because it's like if he gets hired somewhere else, then I don't have to neuter him here. Like that happens in this industry quite a bit. It's happened with Matt Nagy before. I'll be honest with you. It happened with LaFleur when he got the Green Bay job because he was getting his balls cut off in Tennessee. Like, nice.
Second balls reference.
So, but that's not this kid. So I think if they're able to keep him and give him an OC title or restructure their staff or whatever, I believe they'd be looking to do that.
Well, and they've already done it.
Here's the other thing about them, though. If they make a Super Bowl, are you going to be willing to wait until February for this guy? You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're waiting for February and the guy's done it before. Or, you know what I mean?
Like, it's getting a late start as it is.
Him having a staff at age 30 that late in the game, and you can do some of it for him. But again, that's where now we're getting into real deep stuff that Sashi sucked at and that Eric really should have no business doing. You know what I mean? So that's where this original paradigm, now you want to take that leap, and you want to take that leap for this kid when you're in Super Bowl or bust mode, not when you're in rebuild mode like these other teams. And you might have to wait till February for him. Guess who gets even more power in the building? Guess who gets to do his staffing for him while he's still coaching the Rams? Sunglasses and Sash. Be careful. Be careful how you run your building, Steve. It's already too late.
Coming up next, we'll talk Ravens head coach John Harbaugh and the NFL playoffs with Odyssey NFL insider Brian Baldinger. Baldy joins us next.
The exciting action of the NFL postseason is on Westwood One. Hi, this is Scott Graham. Join us this weekend for the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. From now until Super Bowl 60, the NFL playoffs are on
105.7 The Fan.
Hey there, Jason Lockenfora here from 105.7 The Fan.